Hello you guys, welcome back, welcome to another art vlog. I've missed you guys. I hope you are doing well today. I thought it would be fun to change up the location a little bit because I'm still working from home and I'm very grateful enough to be currently living at my parents' place, and they have such a beautiful living room, so I wanted to paint there today. I was really inspired by this teacup that I thrifted recently, and I really love just the cottagecore kind of vibes. I have this one and also another teacup with like this cute little house, cottage house. I thought it'd be fun to paint this, change it up, and paint more of an object. And I want to learn as much as I can and try painting new things as much as I can. Funny enough is like I actually started painting more nature and then people portraits, and then now I'm doing objects. So I'm kind of going on a different kind of order. Usually objects are a lot more easier to paint and also draw. So right now I'm just kind of fixing up like the values and adding also the highlights as well as the shadows. I was like pretty much just experimenting with it. I also had this paper and I love that there's like musical notes on it, and I just thought that it would be really fun to paint over. I used to actually play a lot of piano and also I played in band, so I used to read sight notes all the time, so it's just kind of nice painting over this. I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just playing around, going with my gut, and I wasn't really that happy with it, so I just kind of stopped, and then I started over again on a new set of paper, and I wanted to try a blue kind of color. So nowadays whenever I am painting an object or something that I see like a picture, I only use it as a reference. I don't try to copy the exact same object or photo. I find that this way it's less pressure for me, and I think with art it's just more so of free flowing. You don't really know the end result. Well, for me at least, whenever I paint, I don't really know the exact end result, and I think that's what I love about the process of painting. And so yeah, I instead of painting it white, I just decided to go for blue and play with those kinds of colors because I feel like it would blend well with the background. And so that's how they both turned out. I am not quite satisfied with them, but again, I still want to show you guys my process and just like even of ones that I'm not like super proud of. Today I wanted to paint again with gouache, and instead I actually wanted to paint on this thrifted jewelry glass box. You guys probably have seen in my other art videos, but it came in a set of 3, which is actually really awesome because I could just paint on them endlessly, and this is the second one that it comes with the set. I just kind of wanted to free flow, paint some like flowers and some vines. I didn't really have much of an intention for this one. I feel like lately I've just been feeling a little bit uninspired, and so usually when I feel like that I tend to kind of want to just free flow with painting and just kind of paint what's like on my mind. Nature actually really helps me a lot whenever I feel like I'm in a rut or I need some creative juices going again. I always love turning to nature because it's very calming, it's very grounding as well. I'm just painting this with gouache. I don't put any finisher spray or anything on top. I think somebody asked me that in the comments one time. But usually when I'm painting like objects like this, like glass with gouache, it pretty much stays on and it doesn't come off unless I scrub it off or I put water onto it. So as long as you're not, putting any water onto your painted object, you should be good. I like to have the option of not spraying anything and just kind of leaving it as it is because, of course, I always just want to like change it up, and I feel like in the future I probably would want to, paint something else and reuse the jewelry box. Hello! It is super bright in my room, so I apologize if I'm not like directly looking at the camera. I love the light here. It's so nice. The days have been getting so much nicer here. It almost just feels like spring. I was on a very creative roll last week. I did film that last week and now we're starting a new week, and honestly I think because I'm on my period I just can't. I'm not super inspired, if I'm being completely honest, and I think that's a process that most people go through because we're human and we're not a machine, and it's not like I don't create like every single day of my life, and obviously you need to fill your cup and get your energy and your fuel back. And just because I started my period, I am just I'm feeling low vibrations today. I was planning on painting and filming and I had everything planned out in my head, but then I was in so much pain I had to nap. And I took some painkillers, so I might be a little loopy in my head. But yeah, I just thought I would still, come in here and talk and just feel like it's been a hot minute and just do like a little mini life update. I did mention in my thrift haul, for those who didn't watch, is like I am basically in the middle of trying to plan for a move. It's not fully there yet. I'm still trying to plan the logistics of everything, but again, and I don't want to say it right away because if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Especially like since coming from last year, I thought I had my life figured out and planned, and then after like moving back at home and being single and just starting my life fresh, and I think the idea of starting over was actually terrifying because this was like a new area that I haven't really fully explored, and that was last year. But this year has been gotten so much better. I feel like I still have my moments, but I feel like for the most part I've been thriving a lot more, and I'm sure you guys can tell, like even I'm wearing color more. I never used to wear a lot of color. It's like sad to say too, like looking back, I think I was in a lot of moments the past few years I was really sad, and I never talked about it, I never voiced it, I never shared it. I just basically consumed my thoughts and my feelings like into my work. Now that I'm in a so much better place, and I'm also in a really wonderful relationship, very healthy relationship, and I feel like I'm doing so much better, and also still doing therapy. It's been amazing. I kind of transitioned from therapy to life coaching, and not that like Tony Robbins kind of life coaching. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just, I feel like I found my new thing that like works for me, and it's really nice, and I'm learning a lot about meditating, also learning more about like Reiki healing. I have a Reiki teacher who's my life coach and everything, and I think just getting more, like I wouldn't say I'm a religious person, but I'm a spiritual person, and that is really important to me because, you know, just being connected through mind, body, soul, and finding a way to cope with a lot of trauma and things that I've been through, and just finding a better purpose and more meaning in life again. This whole thing that I was saying was like leading to this, where, you know, I used to be so scared of like doing things on my own and being independent and, you know, just like figuring out life on my own. But like, it's actually, now that I'm on the other side of it, I feel so empowered and so grateful and just really happy that I can do that on my own and figure out what I want. And, you know, I do plan on moving out, and I'm just like, I'm currently in the process, in the middle of it, so I don't really want to announce or say anything yet, just because nothing's set in stone right now. And obviously just with COVID too, like things are just always up in the air. I still would like to travel within Canada, so there's that, because I can't travel outside. I still want to travel within Canada, and there's so much to see that I've never like been to. And now that the weather's getting nicer, I'm just trying to like see what I would like to do and plan out even like my career as well. You know, a lot of you can already tell by now that I really want to pick up, I've been picking up art, and I just like, it sounds so cheesy to say this, but I feel like art has literally saved my life, and it just really pulled me out. And especially being at home and in lockdown as well, at certain times, like, you know, it's not always easy to be creative, and so art has been a really great tool for me just to let out my creativity in that way, and just been practicing it, and I've been really enjoying the process of learning it. This is a new chapter for a lot of people in their lives, because they're going through so many changes, so many unexpected things that are happening. And, you know, I do feel like everyone is going through their own set of new identity, new change in life. Maybe it's quitting a job and starting something completely different, and you're scared. Maybe it's healing from a lot of hard wounds, or maybe, you know, a loved one has passed away recently and you're just trying to cope with that. One thing that I've learned as well through this whole journey and whole process is never force things. If something feels like you're rushing into it, you're kind of trying to fit everything in to make something a certain way, chances are it's not always going to be as how you thought it was going to be, and it might not be as wonderful as you expect it to be. The second thing I realized is it's really important, especially with mental health, it's really important to talk to someone that you can trust, someone that's also very non-judgmental, and if there isn't someone in your life that you can do it, there are like places that you can call. There's also a lot of online services for therapy, and it's tricky because I do feel like therapy is kind of like dating in a way, online dating, where it's like you have to find like that great match, that great fit, but it is really rewarding when you find your therapist or your life coach or someone that you can just talk to, because you are not alone through what you're going through. You can talk to somebody about the issues or things that you are feeling, and I think that's really important. The third thing is listen to your intuition and your gut feeling. I guess I'll talk a little bit more of like my own personal struggles and with anxiety and my mental health, and you know, it was really, I would say like the entire, for the most part of while I was living in Toronto, my mental health was not in the best spot. It really wasn't. And I feel like for me, I've always learned, especially in like an Asian family household, I've always kind of learned to like, you don't really like talk about your feelings, you don't really share them, and you always just kind of keep things in. And I've always just thought that that was so normal. While I was living in Toronto, I was happy in some moments, but for the most part, my anxiety was at a full-time high, and I always thought that that was normal. I always thought that the feeling of anxiety, that pressure, that feeling of like wanting to throw up, that scared fear that you always have, and especially being in a abusive, toxic relationship, that was everything that I knew, and I didn't know any better, and I didn't understand. There's always like triggering moments where, you know, your body and your gut feeling will tell you things, but you decide to like ignore it and suppress it. And I think, and I've done that for so long. It kind of ate me up in a way. You know, when people say listen to your intuition, listen to your gut feeling, like I could never understand that back then, but now that I'm at the other side of it, I'm like, oh, that's what they mean. You know, that fight or flight kind of feeling that you have when you're in a situation, like a scary situation, like your body will tell you something and you will feel it. And the more in tune you are with yourself, the more you are working on yourself, the more you really will able to build that. It's kind of like working out, building that muscle. I firmly do believe that once you are kind of following your intuition and your gut feeling and just really listening to yourself more, things will start to like align and fall into place just naturally, and things will get better. I do fully believe that things will get better, even though it might not seem like it won't. It might seem like it's, you know, it's a shit show. And yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this. It was just kind of like open dialogue. That's essentially where I'm at in life. Like whenever I make big decisions or big choices, I always take a step back and I look at it and be like, okay, does this meet the criteria that I want to do? Not what anybody else wants or not societal standards. No, you get to decide that for yourself, how you want it, what you want in your life, the things that you want for where you want to live, who you want to surround yourself with, what kind of work that you want to do. I think all of those things are really, really important, but before you even get there, it's so important to take that time to sit with yourself with it and have those moments on your own to really work on that. It's easier said than done. It is a process that I'm still going through this process as well. So I'm still just trying to like figure out my life and my next steps. And I always thought that like, oh, I'm gonna be married at a certain age and I'm gonna have my career stuff sorted out at a certain age. But then I realized like, by whose standard is that? Whose standards am I living by? I should be living just by my own standards and comparing by my own self, not anybody else's. And once I realized that, things just clicked for me and things just slowly started to work out. Life is really a journey. It's the process that takes you there to your end goal or to your dreams or to something that you've always wanted to achieve. But I think it's really important to like enjoy that journey for you to get there. Be actually present, and that also helps me too, like with my anxiety. I do get anxious about the future. Oh yeah, definitely get so anxious about the future. I get anxious about a lot of things in my life, and also like even being self-employed in the middle of a pandemic, you know, my anxiety is running all-time high on there because there's never a guaranteed. But if there's anything that I've learned is that there's never a guarantee too, but it's okay. But what we do have a guarantee of is how we live presently on a day-to-day basis. Don't forget to live presently and enjoy the present moments, even if it's little small things with your day-to-day activities. Just falling in love with life and falling in love with yourself through that journey and that process. And yeah, it's kind of it's so weird to say that, but like I think I've been like the happiest than I have ever been in a long fucking time. And excuse my French, in a long freaking time. I've been like the happiest, even though there's so much up in the air in my life right now, and there's so much like uncertainty of like what I'm doing. But it's everything that I want for me, and I'm finally living for me, and I'm really happy with that. When you view life in that kind of way, to me, that is living. And I'm sure too, like on, you know, even through my videos, I come across like a very happy person, a very happy-go-lucky, like perky, cheery person, and don't get me wrong, I am that kind of person, but I'm also human, and I go through a lot of shit that I probably won't really ever mention or talk about online, but still going through that, being able to be on the other end, and just working through that, like, I'm freaking proud of myself, you know? And you should be proud of yourself too. If you've tackled something really hard in your life, like, give yourself a freaking hug. I know that sounds really cheesy, but seriously, like, you gotta be proud of yourself. You gotta love yourself. You gotta really just take care of yourself, because no one else is gonna treat you or love you the same way that you are gonna do that for yourself. Like, no one else is gonna be able to like provide that. It's your job to give yourself that love and that confidence and that reassurance. So don't be fooled by my cheeky, fun, happy-go-lucky personality. Like, you really never know what someone is going through. You really just don't. Even if they have the biggest smile on their face, you really just don't know what's going on behind closed doors. And I think it's still really important to be kind to people, and be patient with people, because yeah, it's just that. And I think if there's anything that I learned is definitely that. But yeah, that's it for my ramble. You know, if I could give you guys a big hug, I would. But if you are going through something currently, just know that you are loved and you are not alone. Okay. Anyways, it's time to I'm gonna try to enjoy my rest of my day.